All right, I want to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 5. This was the best episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi so far. There were so many cool moments. Everybody did their thing. Everybody had their part. Have you noticed, guys, that when it comes to a lot of these shows, whether it be the Disney Plus shows, the MCU shows, the Marvel shows, and the Star Wars shows, have you noticed that a lot of times it's not the last episode that's the most interesting. It's the one right before the last. Like, am I going crazy here? Like, did you notice, like, with WandaVision, like, it had a pretty decent ending. Like, it wasn't the best, but, like, the one before it was more interesting. I've noticed that, like, the penultimate episode tends to be more interesting, and this episode definitely was. Now, I haven't seen the last episode yet. It airs next week, but there were so many cool things to see here. First of all, I really enjoyed the flashbacks to Obi-Wan and Anakin's training when Anakin was a Padawan. They got Hayden Christensen in there, classic Hayden with his face against Obi-Wan. They probably did some de-aging stuff, even though Hayden and Ewan McGregor are not really that old. They kind of look the same they did back in the day. They've aged pretty well, but I love that, and I love how the lesson there was that Anakin was always obsessed with winning more so than just kind of, being mindful. It was all about winning, and that was another hint that he was, maybe a bad choice to train to become a Jedi. Love that, and I also loved the fact that, like, Vader was thinking about it too. It was almost like Obi-Wan and Vader were both thinking about the same thing, and that was really, really interesting. That was really interesting. So, in addition to that, the Reva storyline, I'll be honest, she's actually growing on me a little bit. Like, she's not the best character ever. She can be a little annoying, but I really like her story about how she encountered Anakin about to kill the younglings, which of course is cheap heat. I said that when I first saw episode 3. It was cheap heat. But and how she is conflicted because she joined the dark side really because of her fear. That's why she joined the dark side, because she almost had no choice. But, oh man, I like what they did with her character and how she actually did betray Vader and join Obi-Wan. Leia has something to do in this episode and really wasn't dominating the show. She wasn't really annoying, and that was cool. Seeing the stormtroopers, like, line up in front of that little hideout and having Reva show up and then Vader right behind her. There was lots of good Vader moments here, and really this show has been promoted as being all about Vader and Obi-Wan. And even though Reva's kind of taking the spotlight, this episode kind of brought it back to being about them. And I really love how you didn't have to have Vader and Obi-Wan explaining the past. Like, it was just showing Anakin and Obi-Wan when they were younger. I mean, it really felt good to see them like when they were friends, and how Obi-Wan outsmarted him in the fight because Anakin thought he had him by taking away his lightsaber, but he took the lightsaber away from him, with the Force. And Anakin, I feel like, when he became Vader, although he may have been missing his limbs, he was definitely more powerful with the Force, although it was the dark side. And we saw that here in this episode. Dude, Reva got absolutely demolished by Vader. First of all, Vader walking into, like, the little hideout with a purpose, like power walking, that was freaking awesome. Like, that scene was freaking awesome. I love when Vader is, like, really hell-bent and really serious on getting shit done, because he gets stuff done. You know what I mean? Love that. And then, so, like, he sees the ship taking off, and, dude, this was one of my favorite scenes in all of, like, Star Wars TV, dude. Finally, I've been wanting to see this for years. I've been wanting to see them use the Force like this for years. Vader freaking pulls the entire ship down and, like, rips it open with the Force, yo. This is what I wanted to see out of the sequel trilogy. This is what I wanted to see out of, like, some of the extra material. Like, I want to see how powerful the Force really is. Vader believed in A New Hope. He believed that the ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force, which means that the Force can do all kinds of crazy stuff. And we know that there was a Force user in the past who could actually destroy planets. The Force binds everything. It's a field, the power of the universe. So for Vader to use that to bring the ship down was absolutely phenomenal. And then the ship still takes off, the one inside of it, so he tricked them. That was freaking awesome. The other ship took off behind it. So Reva shows up. Bro, Reva used her freaking lightsaber, which became a double-bladed lightsaber, literally swinging at Vader and he's not even drawing his lightsaber out, dude. He is literally, and Obi-Wan foreshadowed this earlier when, he was like, oh, sometimes there's other weapons. Because, dude, Obi-Wan literally used I'm sorry, Vader, I apologize. Vader used the Force to freaking, like, deflect her lightsaber, like, attack. Like, he was pushing her back. She might be a powerful, like, melee fighter, but she is nowhere near the Force user of freaking Vader. And we knew that. We knew that going in. That was one of the most phenomenal scenes that we've ever seen. I've been wanting to see stuff like this for years. This is how I thought Yoda would fight. Like, he's so good with the Force, you don't even need a motherfucking lightsaber. So he used it. She's over here going double-bladed, spinning it. He stops the spin, and he just owns her. I mean, he literally, she didn't even come close. She did not even come close to hurting him. It was beautiful. And then we find out the Grand Inquisitor survived. That was a mistake by Reva. Look, if I was in the Star Wars universe and I had somebody I wanted to kill, right? Like, let's say I had a lightsaber and I was going to kill someone, I would absolutely positively not, just stab them in the chest and run away. I would slice their head off because you have to make sure that they're gone. I would Count Dooku them, and she should have done that because the Grand Inquisitor is still alive. She gets stabbed. She survives somehow, and then she sees the communicator that goes to Bail Organa and realizes, like, wow, she only heard a little bit of the recording, but obviously it's all pointing back to Tatooine and Kid Luke, because she wants to now find Kid Luke. She's starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together about what's really going on, what Anakin and Vader's and Obi-Wan's relationship is. Like, obviously she doesn't know everything, but they had a conversation this episode, Obi-Wan did, about how she was there during Order 66. She was there, like, when everything went down. And that's insane. That was, I mean, in a good way. That was, like, crazy how now she might actually be one of the ones that has been able to find out the truth about who Darth Vader actually is. Overall, easily my favorite episode. I'm looking forward to the finale, even though what I read I didn't like. But like I said in my video I did a few weeks ago, it's always about context. Context is king. Actually seeing it with my own eyes is different than just reading about it. So I hope that the execution of the episode is actually good, and I hope that it's going to be a good one. So what did you think about Obi-Wan episode or part 5 or whatever? Let me know down below, because I liked it a lot. I mean, I have turned the corner on this show as far as, like, I still think it's like it comes off like fan fiction that's unnecessary, but at least we get entertainment out of it, and that's cool. I'm out. Talk to you soon.